So we've got the elimination and qualification matches for the Masters Toronto Swiss stage coming up. In the first part of it, I think I did decently well. Obviously, the Paper X strain has been going stronger than expected. Also, Genji have been way more dominant against MLBR than you might have thought before the match. So, yeah, these are the two kind of surprising parts of the first four matches, but the other two matches have been more or less going as you would have expected. So now let's head into the second part of it with first the qualification matches and then the elimination matches, with Nuts obviously being set to return for Team Liquid tomorrow. So the first match that we're gonna look at is BLG against Sentinels. So this is what the updated elos for BLG and Sen look like. Obviously Sen have not played Sunset yet, whilst BLG did. And I've only added the overall in general and not the overall with Fracture being included, since yeah, we've been now one game into the tournament and I don't think the overall with Fracture really matters now anymore. And this one probably tells you a bit more of how the games are supposed to go. And in this case, we can see that Sentinels are favored. I think this fits with the opinion most people will probably have about this match. Sen did look stronger. And yeah, let's get into it with how the map bans and picks will shake out, in my opinion. I think, first of all, BLG will ban out Split. It is their own worst map, so that's a good map to get rid of. The difference is also really big compared to Sen. Then Sen are probably gonna ban Icebox. It is again their own map, worst map, as was the case with BLG. So both teams probably getting rid of their own worst maps would make the most sense. Then for Sen, they will probably pick Haven, which I think they will win. It is the worst map out of the remaining ones for BLG. It's also a pretty good one for them themselves. They've been performing pretty well on it, so that would be a solid map pick for them, which they would be heavy favorites on. BLG, I think, are gonna pick Sand then. It is their best map out of the remaining ones, or their second best rather, after Pearl, but Pearl is the best map for Sentinels, so I don't think you should pick that map. It's not as much a guarantee. It's pretty much a 50-50 actually on whether BLG is gonna win it, so BLG should go with a safer map for them to pick, which would be Ascent, which they would be favorites on. Then next, I think Sen are in the second map ban, gonna ban Sunset. They also banned that map in their first match against Wolves, so they probably did not prepare that match, that map as much as BLG probably did, who played that map. So this is probably the safest ban to go for for Sentinels. And BLG are probably gonna ban Lotus, I would assume, because that would leave them with their own best map in Pearl, which incidentally is also Sentinel's best map. So we might get a really exciting banger on that last map, with Sen maybe being slight favorites, but it really could go either way. I would still put Sen as the favorites overall on that map. They just looked a bit bare, but it really could go either way, and it should actually be an exciting game, more so than maybe their overalls would indicate. I think we're gonna get 3 maps, and I think we're gonna get an exciting last map. But I do think Sentinels are gonna win. So let's go over here and put that in. Next up, we're gonna have Paper X against Gen G. Now for Paper X versus Gen G, the overall is still in favor with Gen G, although the Paper X train is really going strong. You really can't tell how much further it's gonna go. Are they gonna win against Gen G again, who has been looking stronger in stage 1 and has looked incredible against MIBR as well? But yeah, we will have to wait and see whether Paper X can make that, I would say, slight upset happen. So let's get into the map picks and bans. First up, I think Paper X have an easy map ban in Haven. It's their own worst and Gen G's best map, so it only makes sense for them to ban that one. Now for Gen G's map ban, they have a few options. They could ban Icebox, Lotus or Split. Split because it's their worst map, that or Ascent, with Ascent not being great for Paper X, which is why I don't think Gen G are gonna ban Ascent, but they might ban Split because overall Paper X has looked better on that map. So that's why Split might be an option, but they also could ban out either Icebox or Lotus, since on both of these maps, even though Gen G themselves are good on that map, Paper X has also been incredible on both these maps. But I think that Gen G is probably gonna go with Icebox, since Lotus is the map out of the two that they are better on themselves. So I think they will rather keep Lotus in the map pool than Icebox. Now for the map pick, Paper X is then obviously gonna pick whichever of the two will be remaining. Whichever will be remaining will be the best map for them out of the remaining pool. That's why they will pick it, and they'll probably win whichever map will be the one going through. For Gen G, there's again a couple options that they have. They could pick Ascent, which they probably wouldn't be too happy about since it's one of their 2 worst maps, but Paper X has looked worse on that map. That's why they might choose this map. They could also go for Pearl, since Paper X has not looked great on Pearl in stage 1, but they looked really amazing on it against Team Heretics, beating them 13-1. So maybe Gen G, because of that, is a bit scared that Paper X is really well prepped on the map, which is why I believe Gen G will pick Sunset, which they played against MIBR and really looked incredible against MIBR on that map. Even though it is historically been a good map for Paper X, I still think Gen G would be favorites, and I think it's the map Gen G would go for. So the next map that is gonna get banned is probably Split for Gen G. It is their worst map with Send. As I've said previously, in the first map ban, they might ban it out as one of these 3. So if it's still available, they will obviously get rid of this one. Paper X are probably gonna get rid of Ascent. It is their worst out of the remaining map pool. They've looked much better prepped on Pearl. They've been better on Split. That's why I think they will get rid of Ascent, which will leave Pearl as the last map, which is gonna be really interesting because we're gonna see how well prepped Paper Rex will be on that map, or if Gen G are still just better on that map as they've been all of stage 1. And I do think that Gen G is gonna take that win. I do believe that Paper Rex are gonna make it out of groups later on, or out of Swiss stage rather. I think they will make it out, but I don't think that they are gonna beat Gen G yet. I think Paper Rex is gonna go far in that tournament, but I think they will lose here against Gen G. So let's put that one in here as well. And next up we're gonna have Team Heretics against Wolves. So Team Heretics against Wolves is also looking to be a pretty one-sided match. Even though Team Heretics has not looked great against Paper X, Wolves have just coming into this tournament looked rougher than any other team. And yeah, I think Team Heretics will have a bounce back game against them to get back into form. But let's look at how the map picks are gonna shake out. First of all, I think Team Heretics will ban out Pearl. It is their own worst map. They just got pummeled on Pearl by Paper Rex, so I don't think they will be eager to play that map again. I think they're gonna need a bit more time to prep some new things on that map, and I don't think that the 2 days that they've had have been enough for that. So I think it's gonna be a Pearl ban for Team Heretics. For Wolves, it's gonna be a Haven ban, I would assume, since it is Heretics' best map and by quite a lot, so it's a good map to ban away for Wolves. Team Heretics' first map pick, I would assume, is Lotus. It is their best map out of the remaining ones after Haven has been banned. They would be really, they would probably feel really confident on that map. It would be a really good map for them, and they're probably gonna win Lotus. I think that just makes the most sense. Now for Wolves, it's the question, do you pick one of these 3 maps which you've not looked as good on, especially compared to Heretics, who has looked very solid on most of these maps, maybe Split not as much so maybe Wolves would take a shot on Split, which is the worst out of the remaining ones for Team Heretics. But I think that Wolves should take the shout of picking Sunset, even though it's been historically a really good map for Heretics. Maybe Wolves have prepped something on that map, and they just couldn't pick it against Sentinels since Sentinels banned it out. That wouldn't make a lot of sense in my opinion, that they've prepped something, and I hope they did, because that would be a good map for them to pick, but it will obviously be kind of a 50-50 who's gonna win that map, even if Wolves are well prepped. Now for the second rotation of bans, Heretics will ban out Split. Out of the remaining ones, this is their own worst map, as I've said, and Wolves will ban out Ascent since it's their own worst map. Which will leave us with a Icebox last map, which Heretics would be pretty high favorites on. And yeah, as I've said in the beginning, I think Heretics are just heavy favorites against Wolves. They will have a nice bounce back game against them. And yeah, they are just overall the favorites. And I hope that they can make a nice run from this 0-1 spot in Swiss to make it into the actual tournament, because I still believe that the players in Heretics are incredible and that they could go far in the tournament if they have a turnaround from here on out. So let's add that one in as well. And the next and last game that we'll be looking at is Team Liquid against MIBR. Now, the last map, Team Liquid against MIBR, it is a matchup that looks really close. As you can see, the overalls are near identical. Yeah, I think it's a game that could probably go either way with how good these teams are in general. But as we'll see later on, I think the maps might shake out in a way that Team Liquid might be a bit favored, and Nuts being back in will obviously help them out with that, so they don't have the disadvantage that they had against BLG of having to play with Penny, who's not a bad player per se, but he obviously isn't the IGL. So yeah, Team Liquid having the IGL back will have a big impact on it, especially since Nuts has been fragging hard in stage 1. So the map ban, first of all, Team Liquid is probably gonna ban out Icebox. It's their own worst map and MIBR's best map, and the same goes in reverse. For Lotus, it is MIBR's worst map and Team Liquid's best map, so that seem to be pretty set in stone bans for the first map ban rotation. The first two map picks also seem pretty obvious. I think Team Liquid are gonna go with Ascent. It's MIBR's worst map and one of Team Liquid's best maps, so they should be heavy favorites on that map. And MIBR should go for Pearl, because Pearl has been Team Liquid's worst map and is one of MIBR's better maps. So these two map picks seem also pretty set in stone and seem to be quite one-sided in each direction. Now for the second map veto, I think Team Liquid will get rid of Haven out of the remaining maps. This is their worst map, and it's a map that MIBR has overall looked a bit better on than Team Liquid, so that's why I think it's a good ban for TL. Now when it comes to MIBR, I think between Split and Sunset it could go either way. They obviously got fisted hard by Gen G, who looked incredible, but Team Liquid also lost against BLG on that map without their IGL, so you can't really tell how well prepped Team Liquid would be against MIBR on that map. You would assume not that prepped, but obviously for MIBR it's looked rough against Gen G, which is also why I believe that MIBR will ban out Sunset and will go with Split, which has been a more comfort map for themselves. It is one of their ban maps, even their second best map after Icebox, which puts us in the funny position where Team Liquid are favorites to win that Split map, with Nuts back, of course. I think that last map will be incredible if we get it, and yeah, we have the situation where MIBR are pretty much equal, if not slight favorites on the overall. But with how the maps look, Team Liquid seem to be slight favorites, with MIBR having their best map probably banned out by Team Liquid, since it's Team Liquid's worst map, and MIBR having looked incredible on it. So this is the map that obviously skews this result the most overall, which is why I think Team Liquid could be considered as slight favorites over MIBR, and I do think that Team Liquid is going to win it, and I think we're going to get an insane performance from Nuts with him being back. So let's add that one in as well. So these are my locked Pickems. This is what they look like. I do feel pretty confident about them. Obviously Paper X might have that upset against Gen G in them. Also MIBR could just show up more than Team Liquid, with Team Liquid not being as well prepped, with Nuts being out for a bit because of the visa issues. So we'll see how it shakes out. I hope the games keep on delivering as kind of the first ones did. And yeah, I hope the tournament goes on great, and I wish you guys luck with your Pickems, and I'll see you guys next time.